Alright folks, welcome back. My name is Shipwreck Sean, and this is episode 12. The day is finally upon us. I am ready to go across the sea and venture to the Emerald Archipelago. I've got my big boy boots on, I've got my thinking cap on, and I've stocked up on just the right amount of madness. Off camera, we have done a couple of sails back and forward to Alchemist Island. I took a trip out to Albacore Town, and then a little trip to Alnalem and the Alank Academy. And as you can see here, we are having a breezy evening sail back to Gold Rock City. So without further ado, we will head into the main episode. I'll show you what new toys and goodies we have to play with, and all changes I have made to our lovely topsail gaff cutter, known lovingly and affectionately as our Bonnie. Alright folks, I have woken up after a lovely overnight stay at the Gold Rock City Tavern. Before we head out, I'm going to stock up on a couple more bits of water and maybe some coconut wine to celebrate the occasion that we have finally made it. Here is the sandbuck over here. We will get to that at some point in this series, but I think that's quite a wee while away, because next we are going east over to the Emerald Archipelago. And whilst I'm there, if indeed I get there, I'd like to explore all the islands and towns, because I've never been there in this game. I've never started a new game in that archipelago. I wanted to keep it all fresh and exciting for me, and hopefully for you as well. But one day. So we're going to head into town and grab a couple more bits of bread. And you'll see why when I give you the tour of our topsail gaff cutter. There's been quite a few changes made. As you can see, we have the ungodly pile of bread here, so that we may, oh, I'm holding up the anchor winch, dry it out in the bow here, which seems to be working quite well for me. They don't fill your hunger up that much, but if I just buy like a billion of them, that should be plenty. So yeah, here's the ungodly pile of bread. Put this knife back. And actually, starting the episode strong, I'm going to sort our mooring here, because we're a little bit ski with. That's a bit better. Very nice. Okay, so new things. I guess the first thing that stands out to you is this giant massive clock known as the chronometer in game. That's going to help us work out our longitude at noon. I think I've almost mastered how to do that, but we'll learn as we go. I can't remember if we had a second table or not by the last episode. I think we did. We have the chip log for reading our speed. Since we've got a lovely new sail configuration, it'd be good to track our speed, see if we might get the best out of it. And we have our sun compass, which is going to help us get our latitude at noon as well, or indeed just a little bit before noon or a little bit after noon. Our stern's looking much the same, a little bit cheese. We are all our bars have reset, and so has our nutrition and vitamin deficiencies. Thank you to Coupling Rhino yet again for some fantastic information on that. Apparently a night stay at the tavern just resets everything for you, so that's nice and handy. You can see we've got a crate here full of water and a couple of bottles of coconut wine. couple of scrolls, and our quadrant. What have we got here? 15, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 waters worth of bottles there. So I'm thinking I'll get a couple of barrels of water before I set sail. I think that will be more than plenty for going east. But you can't have too much. I just love this shelf. I really do. I think it just looks neat. I had a little celebration before I started the episode on my last sail over. I tell a lie. I was far too awake and I needed to drain my energy a bit before getting back to Gold Rock so that I could take a Shipwreck Sean nap. Over here we have our orange crate stacked with some... Okay, we've got 2 crates. The orange crate, I believe, has our snake oil in it. And then this crate here, full of sunspot fish, has our energy elixir. We don't have too many of those, but I think the snake oil is going to be way more handy for our ocean voyage, and I think that should be enough, fingers crossed. So I believe that is the end of the tour segment of the episode. There's nothing jumping out to me that I've done off camera that you guys haven't already seen. So I think we're good. I'm going to go and pick up some more bread and anything else that I could maybe chop up and leave there. And I'll see you at the trader. Alrighty, so let's have a wee look and see what we have. I have added some barrels of water to our dhow off camera, so we don't have an awful lot of space for carrying cargo. We've got this little space here, a little space here. We can probably pile on top of these crates, and maybe we can chuck some stuff on top of the ungodly pile of bread, which I've also added to, and I will add more to before we cast off. So I'm not going to take too much since it is my first voyage across the ocean, but let's have a wee nosy. So we need to go to World, and we are going to Dragon Cliffs, yes. And then I see there's also Newport up here, so depending on how long it's going to take, we might get away with that. So copper, that's too heavy for this. £1,560, no thank you. Spices, 5 of which, that's a bit lighter, but that's 5 big barrels that I'm going to struggle to fit in the hull. Mail, well I think I'm going to be happy to take mail. 36 days, I think that should be enough time. And then there's also mail to Newport, which is also within the 36-day time frame, both of which are worth 3,000, so 3,265 and 3,271. So we'll say 3,270. If we check our currency exchange, it is Emerald Dragons. So I want to swap these round, and it was 3,270. How much is that going to be worth in Al-Ankh Lions? Okay, I was actually expecting more, but I suppose if we're only taking a couple of units of mail, that's all we can really do. So yeah, I guess we'll become a mailman for both of those. We've got mail to Dragon Cliffs, and where's it gone? Mail to Newport. We don't have a map of Dragon Cliffs, but I think we can maybe pick one up. Sorry, of the Emerald Archipelago, but I think we can pick one up at Dragon Cliffs. I would hope so. And we'll have enough money to do it as well, so we'll take mail to Newport. And then we're going to see what small crates we can take. So dates are quite small. They're going to cost circa 60 Alank Lions, because every time we click buy, it goes up a touch. We're going to Dragon Cliffs. 75 profit for dates. Okay, that's where we're going to make our money. So we're going to try and fit as many dates on as we can. The profit's still quite high. I think I can take a good amount of these. I don't know if the profit will be changed forever or if it'll go back up. But yeah, let's go with 6, and then that leaves a little bit of money just for some last minute supplies before we head over. Alright, it's starting to feel real now. I'm very nervous, but it's all learning. So I will stock up the Dhow with this, and I will chuck some more bread in the ungodly pile, and then it'll be time to set sail. So I will see you guys when it's time to go. Okie dokie, I suppose it's time to get into the meat and bones of this. I think I've put it off enough by buying bread, hanging about town. We'll need a little nap soon, as usual. So I think it is time to just head in an easterly direction, and then we'll take it from there. As I say, I have never done this in this game before. I know there's no way of proving that, so you're just going to have to trust me. We're going to let down our smaller jib just to navigate out of the port. As always, being sure not to crash into anything. Off camera there, I picked up some more bread, a couple of lanterns, and I thought I'd get at least one square meal before we set off. I've got this awful feeling like I've forgotten something, but hey, too late now. Wind is in our side here, so I'm going to haul in this sheet so we're not flapping around. Just navigating nice and slowly. I think we're going to try and squeeze through this little gap here. Yes, we can unleash the gaff. Really start to pick up some speed. And it looks like the wind is going to be behind us for at least the first portion of the sail. So that is not bad at all. And because of that, we can open the gaff up quite a bit. I don't know if this is correct, but when I'm sailing downwind, I like to have the gaff at a 90-degree angle to the direction of the wind, as opposed to the 45-degree that I like when I'm sailing upwind. I don't know if that's the correct way to do it or not. I suppose we'll have to learn. And we will be forced to learn. I think I might be creeping a bit too close to this sandbank, but that's okay. We've still got a tiny little hull. We might have beautiful sails, but a dinky little hull. Okay, the wind is now directly behind us, so the jibs are going mental. Or the jib. Tighten that section. Loosen this off. What do we do here? What direction? The jib doesn't know what direction it wants to go in. And we'll let down jib 2. And I guess they're just going to flutter and float around for now until we get our direction. Well, we're pretty much dead east. There we go. I'm going to be getting into the habit of checking the time. It's currently 20 minutes past 8. I'm tempted to do some celestial navigation, but I think I'll save that until we're a bit further in. Something I've never done before, and I don't want to get distracted. Anyway, what can we do about these jibs? They seem to have caught a bit better. Am I just... yeah. Pull them in a touch. They look like they're taking the wind pretty well. And then the fun one. Our topsail is now unleashed. So we're going to just check that she's holding eastward, and then we'll go for our famous nap. This is because I'd like to be napping at night time and awake during the day, so I can try to tell my latitude and longitude at noon. But I think we'll get away with a wee bit more time. It sounds like these are still luffing away, but they look good to me. We have added to the ungodly pile. It's all fresh on top, but you'll see there are some dried slices down below. I should probably save these for the voyage though. I should hope that this should be enough. This on top of fishing, on top of all my oranges and my sunspot fish will surely be enough. We have our 2 barrels of water here and a couple of spare lanterns just in case we need them, which I suppose we can keep on the table now that we're not using that for our clock. That's going to stay in the inventory the whole way. Seems to be holding east pretty well. Touch wood, I think we're off to a good start. We're not really going to need this map, are we? That's okay, we have our interactive map. And speaking of which, I've added a start point here. We've come up here and round, and there we go. That's kind of our true starting point. And then we'll add along. As you can see, wait till that stops so I can zoom out. We've got quite a ways to go. There's Dragon Cliffs there with Newport up the top. According to this map, we'll have the wind behind us until we're at -2 longitude, and then we're sailing into the wind the rest of the way. So we will make the most of this breezy start. And as I say, this is my first time doing this. I've got no idea how it's going to go. I will probably do it in stages. But just to break the YouTube fourth wall, I think I'm going to record the whole lot in a oneer. But I will make it sound like I'm ending an episode every now and then, because I don't really like to have an episode that's longer than an hour. However, if anyone is interested, I will chuck the whole thing together and have a big long video for anyone that wants to see it once I've uploaded each individual one. So yes, I'll try not to start each. You won't be able to see my fingers wagging here. I'll try not to start each episode with welcome to episode 13, 14. I'll probably just hit you with a welcome back and a little update about where we're going and where we are. Our decorative empty bottle there. But yep, we're holding east pretty well. So it's time for a Shipwreck Sean nap. Making sure to not forget to turn off these lanterns. I'll see you in the morning. Hopefully morning. Okay. We are back. We are still heading east. We have drifted ever so slightly. So we will correct our course. It's still night time. And in fact, I can check the clock. It's just past 3 in the morning. When I first used this clock, I struggled a bit because I thought the fast moving ticker was seconds. It is in fact minutes. So there we go. I'm a 21st century man, more of a digital clock guy. But I can read a clock, right? I guess we'll find out. We have overcorrected. I keep forgetting how lightly she turns and how easily she turns. The wind is behind us, but heading off in a northeasterly direction. So we can keep our sail plan as is. And if we want a little bit of extra speed actually, we can release our topsail to match the gaff and to account for, as you can see, the gaff cuts out a little bit, so that's the logic behind that. I haven't really had much chance to use it off camera, so we will give it a good bash now. Going to hold on to the lamb until we're about halfway down our hunger bar. But I think we're okay to take a little swig of water from somewhere. I'm going to use... Where's our big boy bottle? Here we go. I haven't actually used the big boy bottle yet. It's been so long since I've actually filled up a bottle using a barrel, that I forgot what to press. That's just going to save us running back and forward too much. Our cheese is starting to slightly lose its freshness because it no longer says fresh cheese. Can we see Gold Rock? I could just see it before the wave there. And that's just north of west from us. Since this might be one of the last times we can use this. Gold Rock from the peak. And it's just north of west. So we're somewhere on this line. I believe at 20 minutes past 5, which we're about to reach. I don't have enough time to open up the page online. You can check different stars, use the quadrant to check their angle, and then compare that to a graph on the Sailwind wiki to find out your longitude. But as we can still see Gold Rock, I don't think that's completely necessary at this point. We are going off course. And our dates of everything's fallen. Our bottle of water's too heavy. We will keep the bottle of water here. Okay, I need to get to the bottom of why we are going off course. It might be that the top sail is adding a bit too much. So if I pull that top sail back, it might just keep a little bit of forward momentum for us. We want to stay as east as possible. It's getting into daytime, so I don't think we need that. Oh, you can see Gold Rock a lot better. Just off in the distance. Wait for this wave to drop. There we go. So we still have the slight comfort of home. It is quite dark actually. And we're not quite ready for our lamb. I think I've already messed up the sleeping pattern, but I'm not going to use any energy elixirs or snake oil this early in the sail. We will just try and micromanage our naps. It'd be good if you could buy some sort of alarm. Because if we have this amazing technology, I'm sure we could invent an alarm in the world of Sailwind. Okay, she's keeping east a lot better now that we've straightened up our topsail. Head sails are still looking good. Maybe a little bit ruffled. But I'm alright with that, I am stuck. And it is dawn. Hopefully that's a sign that it's going to be a lovely day. It already feels like the waves are a bit choppier, much like when we sailed off to Oasis. She can handle it. Try and get something screenshot worthy. Oh. Something with Gold Rock in the background. I'm going to miss you, Gold Rock. And I guess now we wait for noon and we can practice telling our longitude. We don't necessarily need to practice with the sundial because that's quite easy. And we can't have gone that far off our latitude yet. It is 7 in the morning. So we're just playing a bit of a waiting game at the moment. I would maybe fill the time with fishing, etc., but we don't necessarily need fish right now. And I don't want it to go rotting away on the deck. So I guess we'll do some housekeeping. Start afresh, eh? I don't really want to take the dusty brush over our bread. In the back end, can I clean this? The top of this? Yes. I really don't want to end up in the water whilst I'm doing this. Alright, we've got a bit of a swell now. Blown slightly off course. We are now in a beam reach. So I'll take us back east and then I will adjust the sails accordingly. That's close enough. For 45 degrees. And that looks alright to me. How are the jibs holding up? They still look good to me. I don't think the topsail's doing much though, now that we're on a beam reach. So we'll take that in and we will watch our course. Being sure to keep east. I think there might be an ever so slight turn to starboard. Oh no, she's going back port. So that is okay for now. Not ready for our lamb chop yet. I can't remember how many loaves of bread I've bought, but it is seriously quite a lot. Like, I'd say at least 30 loaves of bread here, probably a lot more than that. I'm not sure, I've lost count. But this is a good emergency backup. I still haven't figured out if rain affects this, so if it does, well, we might be in for a bit of jeopardy. Sea looks lovely. Just want to drink it. But I'm not going to. Touch wood. And as another fail-safe, actually, we are trading in dates. So if we completely run out of food, we should still have some dates here to eat if all else goes wrong. And we'll still make a little bit of profit from our mail to Dragon Cliffs and Newport. So yeah, I'll need to come up with some interesting stories to tell on this voyage. Whenever I've gone sailing in the past, usually at night time when you're on night watch, sharing it with someone, that's when the stories come out. But I must admit, some of those stories were probably not safe for YouTube. So I'll come up with some YouTube friendly stories to tell later on. But for now, we are a-going. Look at her in all her glory. Trying to go for another screenshot option. Seems to be swaying about a bit. Holding course a bit better though. There is, as I say, that slight turn to starboard, it seems. And that would tell me that we're catching the gaff a bit too much. So if I open, oh shit boy. If I open the gaff up a little bit, maybe that will correct us. Oh, we're going to get wet. We are rocking and rolling. Since some water's coming in, is our bread soggy? All looks good to me. I don't think the game developer has included sogginess yet, which I am thankful for. But we are bouncing around. I suspect we'll go off course quite a few times when we're napping, and we'll just have to adjust for that. It is 20 minutes to 10. I can't remember how many minutes are an in-game hour. I think it might be 3 or 4. So not long now, and we'll make our first attempt at a longitudinal reading. But so far so good. Guess it's a good time for, it would have been better to do this with the topsail, but we'll have a little go with the chip log and check what speed we're making. And we'll take a sort of mental average here because the waves can affect it. So we're getting highs of 8. Yeah, so about and a low of 7. That was a high of just above 8. So I'd say anywhere between 7 and 8 knots we are roughly going, which isn't too bad. I wonder if I'll stay awake long enough to do this reading. We'll certainly get a big sleep. Yeah, keeping our heading a lot better. It is choppy seas out there. And it's also worth checking actually. So we have left on day 31. Which is nice. That means we've spent a whole month in the beginning grounds, teaching ourselves how to sail semi-decently, exploring all the islands of the Emerald Arhipelago, and then upgrading our Dhow, and having a little practice with that. Oh wow. Hopefully we don't capsize on this voyage. I've heard of people making this voyage in the Dhow before, but usually with the original lateen sail, and my worry is that, remember I said I went for the risky move of taking the larger mast? I wonder if that's going to shoot me in the foot. What time is it? Okay, an hour to go until it is noon. So, well, that's noon according to the clock. So I think the logic behind this is we want to find out the difference between noon and local noon. And then for every 4 minutes you are before noon, when the sun is directly south, that equates to 1 degree of longitude. And then for every 4 minutes after noon, reading on the chronometer, that equates to also 1, but in the negative direction. And Gold Rock, I believe, is about -5, yeah. And we're going to 5. And it's probably just as well it's almost noon because we are getting pretty tired. So local south is going to be about here. Time for our lamb chop. Last square meal. There we go, that feels good. Water that down a bit. Thought I'd lost the chip log for a second there. Okay, we're getting close to, very close to local noon, i.e. when the sun is directly south. Just making little micro adjustments here. Getting closer and closer. Why am I nervous? Okay, it's now officially noon. So the fact that the minute ticker is going after tells us we're still in the negative longitude. Which makes sense unless we're going like 600 miles per hour. I feel like the boat's turning, but it doesn't matter, I'm busy. Busy trying to find out where we are. Right, and the sun has moved into noon. And it is 5:10. I think that was about 16 minutes after. Something like that. Okay, so roughly, are we still going east, kind of? So if it's 16 minutes after, that is 4. So we're at -4 already? That seems... Let's adjust our course. And I'm going to pause it. So -4 is along this line here. So we think we've made it to this line already. And I suppose I've got nothing else to go by at this moment in time. Here's the direction we had. So yeah, we're somewhere along this line here. Roughly. Oh, that place. Okay, that's just ugly. I'll see if I can still see Gold Rock and we'll get a better heading. Yep. Okay, I'm stuck because I'm still holding the helm. Gold Rock is along the same line. So, with nothing else to go by, we've made it here. 73 nautical miles. just a wee bit to go still. And we really need a nap. So I'm going to try and square us up to 8 as close as possible. 8, sorry, east. Oh, brain. And we're going to stick to what we know since the wind is behind us. We're going to keep that 90 degrees. For now. And I think our jibs are looking good. And yep, I'm going to go for a danger nap. So let's see what happens when I wake up. See you guys in a second. Oh shia. Oh my god, I thought we'd capsized for a second there. Sorry headphone users if I absolutely screamed there. Okay, we're still relatively east. We're turning very slowly, so we've not got an awful lot of speed. Or maybe it's because we were riding a wave there. We've still not really napped properly. I'm guessing it was the waves that woke me up. But a good opportunity to check. Right, so if we're turning east, then that means our gaff is still cutting, right? So maybe I need to release that gaff to as acute of an angle as I can. It might be because the wind is completely hitting us on one side that we keep bobbing to our port side. The time is... It is 6:15. See, I can read a clock. And I think we're almost ready to have our cheese. Oh, tense. I genuinely thought after the first nap I had woken up in a capsized Dhow. Welcome to Shipwreck Sean Goes East for the first time. Capsizes on day 1. I don't want to tinker too much, but I do feel like I want to let the jibs out a touch. Just in case that holds our course a little better. Bearing in mind I have adjusted the gaff, so I may have overcorrected. Just taking a mental average here. Because I mean, it's okay if we go slightly south of east, but if we do that the whole way, we're going to go off course. And who knows where we'll end up. Right, let's investigate, keeping an eye on our compass to see how well she holds east. I mean, it looks good for now, but it's how it alters over a long duration of time. Fortunately, it doesn't seem to alter too much for us, but as I say, I don't want to keep drifting slightly south of east. I suppose perhaps when I wake up I could go slightly north of east for a bit, just to try and make up for it. Can we still use gold rock as a bearing? Just waiting for this wave to dip to see if I can. But I'm not going to lie, folks, it's not looking good. Oh, that's a big wave. Right. Is that... Yeah, that might just have been gold rock there. What's happening with my mouse? It keeps... Okay, I've lost it because my mouse decided to have a bit of a panic attack there. At least it's not just me. And still, we are turning into the wind ever so slightly. We can't let the gaff out any further. So actually, maybe if I make the jibs tighter on the wind, we might benefit a bit more. Okay, so they're as tight as they'll go. There. And haul in the outer jib. Let's see if that helps. Okay. Probably going to shoot myself in the foot, but I'm going to keep the direction just ever so slightly north of east. And then I was going to go for a nap, but now I'm not so sure because it looks like we're holding pretty well. So I won't go that extreme. We'll leave it at that and we'll go for another nap. See you guys in a moment. Wakey wakey, eggs and bakey. Okay, so we have drifted southwards ever so slightly again. So now that I have a little bit of energy, we're going to try and make up for that. By holding... Oh, I was actually trying to lock the helm there. Holding in a east-northeast direction just for a little while. It is currently 1:30 in the morning. So, you know, not the best sleeping pattern. We're ready for our cheese. And we have our empty, massive bottle. Let's go and fill her up. And I don't know if... I think it will make a difference, actually. I need to start actually balancing out which barrel I take from if I want to keep an eye on my weight distribution. So that's 2 lots of 10 I've taken from the port side. Okay, going to attempt yet another nap because I do not want to wake up, well, stay awake until noon and be too tired to make a reading. So, another quick edit. See you guys in another wee moment. Alright, it is morning. We're still heading in roughly in the direction we chose. So I think we are on day 2. Yep, conveniently, we'll just follow the 3s. So 31 for 1, 32 for 2. So we'll make another reading at noon. We have slept properly this time, so we've got a whole day ahead of us. And we'll see how we're getting on. So a couple of things I didn't mention is that I actually picked up 2 more crates of fishing hooks. I think that should be more than a plenty. That on top of the bread we've got should do us pretty well. And as I say, we've got some backup dates here. Can we still see gold rock, or are we far too beyond it now? Yep, folks. I think it's safe to say we have left the Emerald Arhipelago. No going back now. Wow, that's actually quite a nice and scary feeling. For a game that can look a little bit cartoonish at times, it's really immersive. How's the wind looking? Yep, we've got a bit of 45 degree there, but our configuration must be fairly sound if we're holding course now. So I think I'll just keep us going in our adjusted direction for the day. And then maybe just after I do my noon reading, I'll do a bit of battling to keep us going easterly again. Because that was pretty much from, well, pretty much the whole night really. We were heading off in a slightly southeasterly direction whilst making slight adjustments. We are turning slightly westward. Nothing we can do there. Okay, let's try the topsail one last time. I know it was rocking and rolling us around, but I don't want to adjust too much and end up at one of the other archipelagos. I think somewhere in the middle of east and east-northeast is where I want to be. And then I wonder, is it something to do with our weight distribution? Like, are dates heavier than fishing hook? I mean, we do have like 70 lots of water in here actually, but then surely that would turn us to port. Okay, if we're turning windward, then... oh, wrong side. Oh, I'm just grabbing everything now. I think it's worth letting the jibs out. Oh my word. Okay. Keeping us east. It is 9 in the morning. So I think once I have taken the noon reading, I will take a little real life break. It is lunchtime for my cat pretty soon. She will want fed. If she's not fed, she will be heard. And also it's lunchtime for Shipwreck Sean. And fortunately in real life I have something a wee bit nicer than dried bread that's hanging off the bow of a tiny little boat. I'm hoping the more I go on with this sail, the better I will become at working out how to keep course. I thought I'd nailed it with all my off-camera sailing. But this boat has a great way of humbling you. It certainly does that. I'm tempted to take a danger nap before noon, but I think we're cutting it a bit fine there. I suppose now we've got the topsail up actually. Let's see if that's made any sort of difference. So we're averaging about, I would say, 7.5. But we actually seem to be going a bit slower. Well, I suppose it was maxing out at about 8, but that'll be the waves. I can hear luffing. But I think we were probably just above 6 there. So we have slowed down a little bit. And we're getting a bit more of a beam reach now. So I'm going to pull our gaff in. On the top sail a bit. See how we're doing. Again, the turn southwards. You might hear Shipwreck Sean get a little bit annoyed at himself, but I'll try and keep it positive. The bonus is that there's no profanity. Oh, and one thing I need to do actually, because I'm terrible at this, is I have to request you all to like and subscribe. So smash that like button. Or whatever you want to do. If you just want to come along for the journey, then I appreciate you being here. Okay, well, most of our fresh bread has turned into bread. Still got quite a lot of dried bread on the bottom there. And I think we can start consuming that. Because all we have otherwise is our sunspot fish, which I'd like to keep for emergency purposes. And the oranges, which I don't really want to eat that for hunger purposes. I'd rather keep that for fighting off scurvy. That'll do. I hope you enjoyed the bakery segment there. Still a touch south, but not too bad. And it's getting close to 11 o'clock. All of that sound of eating has made my stomach rumble in real life. Fortunately, I don't think my microphone is strong enough to pick that up. That's the nice thing about adding music to these videos, is that any little background bits and bobs like that will hopefully get drowned out by the sound of the YouTube audio library. I've actually messaged an old uni friend who makes their own lo-fi music, and she is going to send some over to me when she gets the time, and she's kindly given me permission to use that. So I'll be doing that soon, and I'll be sure to give her a massive shout out, and I'll link you all to her Spotify as well. But that is for the future. Okay, we're on the 11th hour, so approaching real noon. So we want to keep our eyes up to the skies. What's the point in having a shelf if we're not going to use it, right? Yeah, in fact. Because I'd like to see the logo. And the boat has corrected itself again. So, oversteer, take us back in, and I'm going to lock the helm in that direction just a touch and see if that helps me out. It's getting close, so local south is going to be here. And the sun is creeping in. So Shipwreck Sean will take a slight pause from his usual nattering away, because it is time to use the thinking cap. that I adorned earlier. The big boy boots have been taken off. Okay. Getting closer and closer to south. It is real noon. The sun is creeping. Just waiting for the sun to centre using this little curve. Oh, I think it just needs to move ever so slightly. There we go. And that looks to be, well, about 12 minutes past. And we're losing our jibs. Because the wind is right behind us. Because I'm I'm sailing north. Okay. So that'll sort our our southerly issues. There we go. Get her back east, and we'll do some. I guess this is dead reckoning. So it was 12 minutes past. So that's 4, 8, 12, 3 minutes in the negative. So I think we've actually made it to -3. We're somewhere on this line. And we have actually been going just a little bit more south. And I think with the micro adjustments I've made, I haven't really brought ourselves back level yet. So I'm going to guesstimate we are here. And that's looking alright. That's an alright start. We've made 166.8 nautical miles so far. And now she wants to turn northward. So jibs in. And there we go. So I think I'm going to take a little Shipwreck Sean and Shipwreck Bonnie break. I think if I'm going to be releasing this in episodes, I think we have reached maybe just over the hour mark. So I'll call it there for now. And if indeed you are watching this long in the future, when I've released a massive long video, then I'll be back with you shortly. So see you guys whenever is appropriate. Cheers.